So with the new release of The Flash, where does it land on the DCEU movie ranking? What's happening, guys? Back at you with another video. So in this video, I'm going to be ranking all of the DCEU movies with the recent release of The Flash. It's about time I do one of these videos. I haven't really done one of these videos where I just rank all of the DCEU movies. So basically that's what I'm going to be doing, going from the bottom to the top of this one. Where does The Flash land on this one? Let's go ahead and find out where it goes. Coming at the bottom is going to be Justice League, or aka Justice League, from 2017. This one is really no need to explain. This one was just bad. I did not enjoy this movie. I've seen it twice probably, and it's still a whole lot of times. There's a lot of times I've seen it. Like, that's too much for me. This movie was just done poorly and just did not live up to the hype of just having a Justice League movie. So this is a movie I definitely do not go back and watch, and this is a movie that is not good. Moving on to the next one on the list, and that is going to be Suicide Squad from 2016. Now, I know a lot of people don't like this movie, or they think it's a bad movie. Now, the thing with this movie is that I think there are some parts about it that are not very good, but I can still watch this movie and actually have some kind of entertainment value out of it. For the most part, I like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I like Will Smith as Deadshot and different things like that. I don't like the villain with Enchantress, but there's a lot of things that I could still be entertained by with this movie. But it still has a lot of flaws and a lot of bad things about it, so that's why it definitely does go more towards the bottom of the list. Moving on to the next one is actually a first-time watch, and that is going to be Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I watched this one like the day before I saw the Flash movie. Like, it was the first time watching it because I didn't get a chance to go see it in theater. So this was my first time checking out Shazam! Fury of the Gods the day before the Flash movie came out. And I gotta say, this one was definitely a step down for me when it comes to the first Shazam movie. This one had some fun moments and all that, but it definitely felt a little bland and it felt a little generic to me. Like, the villains are not very compelling. When that's sad to say, when you have actresses like Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren playing these villains. It was like, and just the whole concept, I don't know, just different things about it. Like, I was really looking forward to watching this movie and, just having a fun time with it. And it just has some fun moments here and there throughout the movie, but this one is definitely a step down for me. I didn't enjoy it as much as the first Shazam movie, so it was an interesting one. I didn't enjoy it as much, so I gotta put it at this spot on the list. Moving on to the next spot on the list, and that is going to be Wonder Woman 1984. And I know this movie gets a lot of bad rep on it. If you think about this movie and just think about some stuff that they did in this movie, it's definitely questionable. But if you could turn your mind off to it, I think this movie still has some fun things about it, like fun things to see. Seeing Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is just mainly the thing I like about this movie, because she just plays a great Wonder Woman. I just like seeing her as Wonder Woman. So that's definitely like the main thing I watched this movie for. But it definitely is a step down from the first one. A lot of things they were doing in this one I didn't necessarily like with this one. And it's just not one I go back to rewatch. I probably watched it only like twice, and like the second time I watched it was like a couple months ago, like right before Shazam! Fury of the Gods came out. That was my second time actually rewatching it, just to get a little refresher and see what I think of it after all that time. And it's still not one I gravitate towards to where I'm going to probably watch it again. Maybe I'll watch it again in the future, like when I do a whole nother ranking. I don't know. We'll see if that actually happens or not. But like, it's definitely a step down from the first Wonder Woman movie. Moving on to the next one on the list, and this one is actually took a couple steps down the list. With every rewatch, it just goes down and more down on the list. And that's going to be Black Adam. Black Adam, when I first saw it in theaters, I thought was a good, fun movie to watch. Just The Rock being The Rock, and a lot of great things in this movie. But with each rewatch, I've probably seen it like 3 times already. Each rewatch, it goes down more and more for me. Some of the highlights for this movie really for me was the Justice Society, mainly among like Dr. Fate. It was awesome to see a live action Dr. Fate with Pierce Brosnan. Hawkman is pretty exciting and awesome in the movie too. And The Rock is just being The Rock in this movie. He's not really doing anything necessarily great or anything like that. Like, it's a fun movie to watch, but like, the villain is not very good either. It's not a memorable villain, not a compelling villain. Just a run of the mill type of villain, to where it's like just a villain that's in a way, Rock takes him out, whatever. So like I said, with each rewatch for this movie, it just goes down the list for me. Moving on to the next one on the list, and that is going to be the first Shazam movie, and I think this was definitely a fun watch. I watched it a couple of times already. I've seen it a few times already, and I still have fun watching this movie. I still enjoy watching this movie. I think it's a great movie and just a fun overall fun time watching this movie. The way it just plays out with Zachary Levi playing Shazam, and it's just the comedy and the way they're able to embrace this character and be able to give us this movie. It's just a fun time, fun watch of a movie, and just the way it just plays out with introducing his character and him getting his own movie and all that. I enjoy this movie. I have fun watching it. So moving on to the next one on the list, and that's going to be Batman v Superman. Now I know that a lot of people don't dislike this movie, but I do like this movie for the most part, but there's definitely a lot of flaws with this movie. I usually watch the Ultimate Edition because it just fleshes out some stuff a little bit more, but like it still has its flaws. I can still enjoy this movie for what it is and still go into this movie and watch this movie for just a fun time to watch a movie and like kind of ignore the flaws in it. But I do admit it does have some flaws with it. One of the flaws I think it has is Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I absolutely do not like his take on Lex Luthor. That is one of the biggest misfires for me in this movie. The way they're trying to rush things in this movie to where it's like it has Batman going up against Superman, they're fighting each other, but also too trying to set up the Justice League movie also, and then you have the villain of Doomsday, which is I don't think was really used to full potential and just rushes through things a lot. But despite all those flaws, I'm able to still watch this movie and still have a somewhat fun, good time watching this movie. Moving on to the next one is going to be Birds of Prey, an incredibly long title. Well, aka I guess it's called The Emancipation or Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn. It's a long title. You already know. It's a long title, so it's hard to remember every exact word of it. But I recently rewatched this movie for a second time. I watched it when it first came out, but I watched it for a second time a couple months ago, right before Shazam! Fury of the Gods, because I was planning to do a ranking video of all the DCEU movies. If I was going to have that chance to watch Shazam! Fury of the Gods in theaters, I was going to do a ranking video of all the movies. I didn't get that chance, but like I did rewatch this movie for the second time. This is my second time viewing this movie right before Shazam! Fury of the Gods came out. And I gotta say, I think this one is actually kind of an underrated movie. It's not talked about a whole lot. It wasn't big at the box office from, if I remember correctly. But honestly, upon this second viewing, I had a lot of fun watching this movie. Like, it gives us a great movie, a great fun movie with Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn in the starring role. And it gives us that movie to where she's an unreliable narrator, to where it's just a crazy fun time. It's like just a fun time to watch this one. I think the Birds of Prey, the group that she's in, are pretty cool and awesome. You know, Ian McGregor playing Black Mask is kind of great in this movie too. So honestly, upon a second viewing, I just had like a great fun time watching this movie. And honestly, I think it might be actually underrated. So, Birds of Prey and the incredibly long title of Harley Quinn Emancipation, I put at this spot. Moving on to the next one on the list, and that is going to be Aquaman from 2018. I had a lot of enjoyment and fun with this movie. Jason Momoa just brings his charisma and charm to this role of Aquaman. I just like the way he plays the role of Aquaman in this movie and in other movies too that he's in. I just like Jason Momoa in general. Like the way he just acts in this role is bringing charisma and brings the charm and just brings different things to this role of Aquaman. Like I enjoy this movie. I know it's not like talked about a whole lot, but like I do enjoy this movie. I like some of the underwater scenes also. Like James Wan was able to bring some awesome underwater scenes and bring us these creatures too, creature design and all those things and all the different things we see with that is pretty awesome. I gotta say, like it's one I enjoy watching. It's one I could like look at and like marvel at and be able to enjoy this movie and enjoy watching it and have a fun time watching it. And you know, like I said, Jason Momoa just brings it as his character and his role of Aquaman. Moving on to the next one on the list, and that's going to be the recent release of The Flash. Now, in my review, if you watch my review, I said that I did like this movie, and I do like this movie, but it does have some flaws with it, I believe. By the time this movie ended, when it was all said and done, I felt like something was missing from this movie. I felt like I needed more from this movie. Like I wanted more. There was something I wanted, and just felt like something was missing from this movie when it was all said and done. I think there's a lot of great things in this movie. Michael Keaton is great as come back as Batman. Ezra Miller did a good job as the Flash. Supergirl did Sasha Calle did a great job as Supergirl. And it has great parts here and there. CGI is okay, but it's pretty shabby in a lot of parts. It's one of those movies that I feel like the parts are greater than the whole thing. Like there's great parts here and there and throughout the movie, but when you put it all together, it just doesn't click as much as I wanted it to for me. Like I wanted to like this movie so much more than what I do like it. Like I do like this movie. It was a lot of fun to watch, but I wanted to like this movie so much more. Like I wanted to put this movie at the top. I really do. Like I want this movie to be so good that I could at least put it at the top and it'll live up to like some of the hype that people were hyping it up to be. And it's like unfortunately, as much as I did like it and as much as I did have fun with it, it does not live up to the hype. I cannot put it as a top tier type of movie as much as I wanted to, as much as I wanted this movie to be a top tier movie. It just doesn't do it for me to where it's like it does that. It just makes it to the top tier. It doesn't do it completely for me. Like I said, I do like this movie. It has a lot of good parts throughout the movie, but when it comes to the whole, when it comes to the sum of it all, is not entirely the movie I wanted it to be. I wish it would have been at least a little bit better to where I could actually say it is one of the best DC movies or it's one of the best comic book movies. I wanted that. I really did want that. But unfortunately, I cannot say that about this movie. Moving on to the next one on the list, and that is going to be Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman movie. I think it brought a lot of good things with having Gal Gadot in her first solo movie. She brings a sense of hope to the DCEU, to where it's like they gave us a great DCEU movie and a great Wonder Woman movie, and Gal Gadot is just embodies this character to where she plays the character so well, so great, and I enjoy seeing her on screen every time she comes out. If it's just in a movie or if it's just in a cameo spot, I just enjoy Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, seeing her as Wonder Woman, and playing when she plays her as Wonder Woman, just embodies the character so well. I think this first Wonder Woman did a great job of giving us a great story and sort of a great introduction to the character of Wonder Woman, sort of giving her own origin story of sorts, and being able to give us this character in this movie. I know a lot of people talk about the third act that is kind of a CGI filled and Zack Snyder-y sort of kind of take on it. But honestly, I can enjoy the third act, even though it's not as great as the rest of the film, but I can still enjoy the third act for what it is, at least. And I still think that the Wonder Woman just gives us a great overall Wonder Woman story. You know, Chris Pine and Gal Gadot have great chemistry together throughout this movie, so I think it's definitely a good one. It's definitely a great one. On to the next spot on the list, and that is going to be the Suicide Squad from 2021. This one is the James Gunn directed Suicide Squad. I had a lot of fun with this movie. I thought James Gunn did an excellent job with bringing us these cast of characters, these misfits, banding them together, bringing us unknown characters the same way he did Guardians of the Galaxy, bringing us these characters that nobody really knew about, and bringing them together and being able to bring us this movie to where we actually care for the characters, we actually feel for the characters, and giving us this story giving us this movie that is both comedic at times but really heartfelt in a way too at times, and being able to give us this cast of characters to actually just, they're basically unknown characters to most people, but being able to make us feel for the characters, make us actually like the characters and love the characters and all that. And when, you know, also too, when it came to like having a Peacemaker show also after this one, which was a great, amazing show. And this is to get that great, amazing show, he brought us this first to where he introduced the character Peacemaker to where you didn't really like him, but by the time the show came around, it's like you felt for the character. But he brings us this movie of the Suicide Squad to where it gives us a great story, a lot of comedy in it, that was funny, and just overall great storytelling between these cast of characters that make you like them, makes you love them, makes you feel for them. James Gunn did an amazing job with this movie. Moving on to the number 2 spot, and that is going to be Man of Steel. Now, this is a movie where I did like it when it first came out, but as time goes on, I enjoy it more and more upon each rewatch. I think this movie benefits with more over time with each rewatch. I just enjoy it more and more. I think it just gets a little bit better for me with each rewatch, and just as time goes on, it just gets a little better for me. Henry Cavill is a great Superman. It's sad to see him not be Superman no more, but at least we're able to get him for this movie and a couple other movies. This is a great Superman story to where it's like an origin story basically, and you know, General Zod is great. Michael Shannon is great as General Zod in this one. I enjoy the Superman movies so much as time goes on. I think it's a great Superman story, and being able to just have Henry Cavill as Superman, have a great cast of other characters in this movie. This is a great Superman movie, I believe. This is a great Superman movie. I enjoy it, really do, and definitely awesome. But coming in at the number 1 spot is going to be Zack Snyder's Justice League, the 4-hour epic movie, and I think this one is definitely gets the title of epic. Like, this was an epic tale of a story of a movie to where it's like, even though it's 4 hours long, I can watch it and still be entertained the whole 4 hours, still be engaged in this movie the whole 4 hours. I don't watch it a whole lot because it is long, and it's just a matter of finding the time to watch it. But when I do, I can still be able to go through these 4 hours and be just engaged, be on the edge of my seat, being able to just enjoy this vision that Zack Snyder put out. You know, he was able to complete his vision with this movie and be able to tell this story with the Justice League, and it's just an epic story that he was able to give us that I enjoy watching it. Even though despite it being 4 hours long, it's still engaged. I'm still being engaged by these cast of characters and just being able to have this epic story being told to us on film, in a movie, and being able to do that. It's just it's a pretty epic movie. Like I said, it's one of those movies that gains this title of being called epic. And I think not James Gunn, but Zack Snyder did an excellent job with this movie, being able to bring his vision forward to us and being able to give us this movie, have his full vision realized in this movie. And I think he did an amazing job with this movie. I like this movie. I really do enjoy it. It's definitely the Justice League movie that I go back to and watch when I just want to watch Justice League. This is the movie I go to watch. When I want to see a great DCEU movie, this is the movie I usually go back to watch. So I enjoyed this movie a whole lot. I think he did a great job with this movie. And it's amazing. It's epic. But that is going to be my ranking for all the DCEU movies. Let me know down in the comments below, how would you rank all of the movies? But that's going to do it all for this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Remember, if you want to be part of Team Legendary, all you got to do is subscribe and turn notifications on so you know when I post another video. Hope you all have an awesome day. And remember, be legendary.